Well, it's counting backwards from 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh, that didn't work. Let's try that again. Counting backwards from 5. This show is pro. Go. Well, there you go. If there was ever any doubt that this show is actually done live, now you know. There's no lip syncing. We leave all the mistakes. Mike, I no matter how many times I do this show, I just never get the intro right, do I?
Yeah. My favorite was, that didn't work.
That was an honest moment, Mike.
Yeah.
One of the few in my life.
It was a good one, though. It's a good one. What do you remember?
But honestly, we do have a good guest tonight, Mike. We have a guest who will be talking with us. Oh, well, hello, Blower Flog the X. I think that's Greg Orlando, our former Wizard colleague. Hello, Greg. Nice to see you there. So we do actually have a really good guest tonight, Mike. It's not just you and me just trying to randomly do jazz hands and entertain people.
Yeah,
here's somebody who actually works in the comic book, has worked for a very long time in the comic book business. And as you know, Mike, and you'll see from this graphic, you know that not only am I a giant Conan fan, I am a huge Barry Windsor-Smith fan, and I saw that they were putting out a collection of Conan art. And I know, Glenn, I messed up the music, but I will get it right next time. And Jared calling from down under, Mike.
Hey, Jared. That wasn't a good one. Crikey.
Good. That's good. We've got to work on the greeting to Jared down under.
That's true. Anyway, I'll look up some Australian greetings.
There are very few characters I love as much as Conan, and very few characters I love as much as Barry Windsor-Smith. So I saw this campaign on Zoop.
Zoop.
We'll find out a little bit about Zoop being promoted as a crowdfunding by a new company called PUG. But it turned out to be a lot of very familiar names. Good day back to you, Mike, from Australia. Go ahead, Mike, do it.
Good day, mate.
Good day. So before we get ourselves into further trouble, let us welcome our guests all the way from San Diego. Please welcome John Barber. John, welcome to the show.
Hey.
Yeah. Live studio audience. Pretty exciting, John. We're very happy to have you. You are a true veteran of the comic book business. You're doing amazing things. But like I said, when I saw that Conan, I was like, I need to know the backstory. And thank you for joining us to talk about the backstory, your career in comics, and what you guys have coming.
Awesome. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me on.
It is. And Jared just said hello from, is he Australia or no? He's Australia, right?
He's Australia. He's an Aussie.
Yeah, but he's an Aussie. So all the way from Australia live, John, you're being greeted. So we're pretty excited about that.
Wow. What is it like? Is it tomorrow there? I mean, that's wow.
He's living in the future.
Cool. Let me know how this went.
That is actually a pretty good. That's one of the better ones. So, John, you are your editor-in-chief, I believe, at a relatively new company called PUG. Can you tell us what that is, John?
Yeah, it's PUG-W is the acronym. It's Pan-Universal Galactic Worldwide. It's a new company, or a kind of just like you said, relatively new. Founded by John Nee, who used to be the head of the publisher at Wildstorm, the publisher at Marvel until very recently. Worked at DC after they were acquired by Wildstorm. Was one of the key founding people of Cryptozoic, the game company. So he's really been around. And we've been doing a few things kind of behind the scenes for the last. I started summer of 22, right? Yeah, summer of 2022. So the last like year and a half or so, I'm kind of working behind the scenes on doing some projects and stuff. Not a lot of visibility on them. And then the Conan book was it's really been our first kind of public facing foray into things.
Yeah, John. So did the idea to form a company come first, or did the acronym come first, and then you guys built a company around it?
It actually was the company first. It sort of gets a little awkward because John's got a network of companies, so sometimes we're not sure who we're working for. That's not quite true, but like different meetings might just assume we're part of Cryptozoic or something. So
well, Mike is sort of the same way. Mike lives in a variety of safe houses to elude the authorities, so we never really know where he's calling from.
Can't stay in any one place too long.
No, you can't stay in one place too long. Now, we're going to get started, and we're going to be talking about this project. But first, John, I think as I had mentioned, I tried to, with all good intention, really tried to find like a resource of like one of your credits, and it just kept going. Like there was like no single place. You are a tremendously prolific creator. As an editor, as a writer, this is just your Marvel credits, but I believe if I'm to be correct, you're also extremely well known and beloved. I think that's the word, beloved, for Transformers as well. John, can you comment on that?
Sure. Yeah. So like I started off doing web comics, kind of in the early days of that. Then I went to Marvel. I was at Marvel starting in, I think it was like 2003, like pre House of M, kind of that era. I was there for around 5 years. I worked on the Ultimate books, worked on Marvel Zombies, Stephen King's Dark Tower.
Now, when you say worked on, were you editing or were you writing? What were you doing?
Editing. I'm sorry. That was all as various, somewhere between assistant editor and editor on all of those.
Honest question, John. So you were an editor at Marvel. How did you manage to not hire me? I mean, I was writing for Marvel. What happened? Were you just trying to save the best for last and you ran out of time? What happened?
I guess so. Well, we were kind of trying to figure out if we worked together back then earlier, but yeah. I don't know. Same reason I'm only on this podcast.
There's no easy way to answer that question.
Why aren't I always on?
That's a real question. It's easy you didn't hire me. I'm a terrible writer. That's the reason.
Rhetorical.
I'm horrible and the worst.
No. Oh my God.
But
it's turning into an ambush.
Mike is truly a 3-time Emmy Award-winning television writer. That itself is true, right, Mike?
That is absolutely true. Yes.
That's right. Mike is a 3-time Emmy Award-winning television writer. And Mike, are you a fan of Conan?
I did enjoy the movie. I don't know if I've ever actually read any of the comics, though.
You enjoyed the movie. Which movie? There were at least 3.
The first one.
There were at least 3, a television show, an animated series.
The Arnold
action figures.
Yeah.
So, John, I became a Conan fan when I was a child. It was a true story. I was riding my bicycle home. This is the universal symbol for riding my bicycle home. I was about 8 or 9, and not being a very athletic child, I crashed my bicycle. Fortunately, I had a stack of papers, and on top there were nudie magazines, and I was like, okay, let me brush past those. I wasn't in there were comic books there, and there were old Conan comic books, early Barry Windsor-Smith.
Oh, wow.
So I made my way back home, And my father, I don't think we would do this today as parents. He goes, well, why don't you go knock on the guy's door, see if he has more comics to sell? Sent like an 8 or a 9-year-old child with cash to go to some stranger's house. I did. I bought more Conan comics, and Barry Windsor-Smith became like my goat. And I've loved comics ever since then, and Conan being one of my favorites. So when I saw this, and we're going to pull it up now, I needed to know more. So let's pull this up and show this project that, John, are you the editor of this particular project? What's your role in this?
We've been kind of trying to work that out. I'm editing it with Ian Chalgren, who's the designer. He's the one who put together all the design. That's why he's the designer. But it's a little more than that what he's been doing. So
well, this is a number one. It is beautiful. But let me go back here. I'll go back to this later. Next week, if you guys are tuning in, I appear. One of my stories appears in a very Valentine's special, little play on words there for Valentine's Day, featuring me and AJ, Alex Apadu, Ryan Cady, Will Pfeiffer, who you probably know, and Lisa Hawkins, who you definitely know, will be our guests here next week on Comic Book School to talk about what we did to put the Valentine's Day special together. That's your little public service announcement. Now, we're going to dive into this, and John, you're gonna comment on the art. Feel free to tell us how you got this art, how you guys scanned it, like the ways you worked it, and then we're going to give you a little behind the scenes and show you what John's production schedule looks like and how he puts that together. The third one was good until halfway through. The movie loses its breath at the same time that Conan does. Thank you, Gatilla. You know what? I kind of agree with that. The movie does lose its breath. So, all right. So let's start here. Probably my favorite Conan artist, one of my favorite artists of all time, Barry Windsor-Smith. Talk to me about how you got your hands on these.
Well, we were pretty lucky on this book that we knew people who had a lot of the scans, and worked with some of the people we knew. Since this book has been announced, like a lot of other people have come forward with some more pages. And I mean, that's really the way it kind of works, is that the sort of community of art collectors and stuff, like they really pay attention to these books. And
so is there a sequel being planned?
No comment. No comment yet.
No comment yet.
John playing it cagey. All right, John.
Yeah, it could mean anything.
We were looking at this. If you see any page that you particularly find as one of your favorites, you let me know. But I was just stunned by this page. I didn't know he had drawn this on a page that appears to have so much tooth to it, almost to be like a mat of some kind. I mean, it's really incredible. It's not your standard comic art page either, is it?
No, and when you look at the way that reproduced, that was a cover. Of course, we actually have in the book, we've got the original, and then we've also got sort of the photo stats where they've lined it up with the logos and stuff, so you can see how it goes on there. But the actual printed book is so much of it's like lost. Like that's probably one of the coolest images in terms of just seeing stuff you've never seen before if you've never seen the original. Like that's the white snow on there. It's just really neat looking, and
what
none of that showed up on the
actual cover. What I loved about this one particular page, this is the cover, was just the sheer gravity. Like, what I mean is, like, he is using gravity, showing how that one giant is falling down the hill, how they're all skidding down the hill. Like, he could have easily done this on flat ground, but to add all that extra gravity and what those bodies would look like, trying to resist the motion to fall down the hill, even the way they're holding their swords, the way this guy's trying to stay balanced, this guy's tipping over. I always thought this was an incredible cover.
It is, yeah. I mean, just the story being told there. I mean, there's so much you can see. You see what's happened. You see what's about to happen. Like it's a whole world, a whole Conan story just right there. And it was a cover for a pretty good Conan story as well. The Frost Giant's Daughter.
It's a great story.
Pretty solid one.
Mike, what are you thinking so far? You're going to have to tell us which artist is your favorite, Mike. It's okay if it's not Barry Windsor-Smith. I've already staked my claim.
I don't know any others, so I'll say Barry Windsor-Smith.
All right. So next page. Why don't you take us through these, John? This just made Mike's job a little harder.
Yeah. I mean, that, like that, the Conan with a gun from the What If issue of What If Conan is in the present day. I mean, that's one of the most iconic images, I think, of Conan in a weird way. It's Bill Sienkiewicz. Like Sienkiewicz was the whole reason I got into comics. Like that was like the artist. That was my my running my bike into Barry Windsor-Smith and seeing the ad for the Shadow comic. But that so powerful and such a amazing image. And then Alex Toth. How can you go wrong with Alex Toth? But one of the things I've seen people like kind of say about, I mean, I don't think people say this now, but saying about Alex Toth, like historically, was like that it wasn't art you wanted to hang on your wall. It was very storytelling. I mean, he was all about he was very much about storytelling and about the mechanics and everything, or the mechanics of how the eye moves and all that kind of stuff. But you look at an image like that, and it's just, I mean, that's gorgeous. You are going to want this one on your wall. It comes out very nicely.
And what I wanted to point out is you've preserved notes in the margins.
Sure, yeah.
And I think that we as readers never get to see something like that. Talk to me about what happens in the margins. You're an editor. You've been doing this a long time. You're a writer. Talk to me about what happens in the margins and why you actually showed this to the audience.
Well, it depends on the comic. I mean, I think one of the things that's kind of cool about some of these comics is they were done Marvel style, so it'd be like a plot first, and then the artist would draw the comic, and then the writer would come back and write the dialogue. So a lot of times you'll have these little messages in the margins from the artist, kind of explaining what's going on or what they're supposed to be saying. When you go back to like some of the Lee Kirby stuff, you can see a lot of the dialogue was. You can see like Kirby's version of some of the dialogue. I mean, a lot of that gets erased, but some of it doesn't. You see these little notes to the colorist. I think that's what the Toth one has. It's interesting, and it's also something you don't see today that much because you're not getting this original art sent in somewhere where a production department's going to do anything with it. You're getting a digital file. The end. Which, I mean, I have no problem with that, but other than you lose this kind of coolness of like, here's all the stuff you can't see, the digital file is a digital file.
Yeah. And Toth was famous for writing long letters to fellow creators, to editors, sharing his thoughts. And, he had a quite distinct handwriting as well. And I think, you don't get to see this. Same thing with the Sienkiewicz art, the What If and all the trade dress above here would cover this up. I never knew what this was. I can't tell. Is that marker? Is that brush? What exactly? Do you know how he did that?
I think it's all like wash. I think
Wash?
that was my guess. I guess I'm not positive.
It looks like wash.
No, you'll definitely get a chance to see that one close up in the book. So I'm switching my other screen so I can see it a little better. But I mean, I think it's acrylics on some sort of. My guess would be textured paper because you can when you zoom it when you have this actual thing in front of you, you can see the like you said, the tooth on the paper on it shows up here and there. It definitely shows up in this one.
Mike, John's basically telling us all the things we don't have access to. So,
well, you might get the book and you'll have it.
All right, so Mike, so far
it's 2 inches tall on my monitor.
I know, Mike.
Reality, it's like 15 inches.
Mike, so right now we got Barry Windsor-Smith on that first page with 2 images. Sienkiewicz, the guy that brought John Barber into comics when he ran him over with his bicycle, and then Alex Toth. Next page is here. Talk to us about what we're looking at on these pages. Make it a little harder for Mike.
Oh, which ones are these? Are the we were over at Buscema, right? Again, I'm at trying to track my eyes through this.
It's a little small to see too. Let me see if I can make it any bigger. Let me see. I have them written down. I won't put you on the spot. Mike, what are you finding to be your favorites now? And also John, what's with the yellow on the page? What is happening? Why is there that yellow on the actual art boards?
Okay, so I'm trying to find here we go. Yeah, oh no, wait, that's not even it. I'm sorry, that was a different image. Goodness. All right. Yeah, so the yellow is one of two things. Okay, yeah, okay. So it's a sometimes people call it Zipatone, sometimes they'll call it Letratone. Letratone is a company that made a lot of it. It's a plastic film that has pre-printed on it some sort of texture to it. Like you might see like black dots, or you might see some lines or some sort of chaotic looking shapes to it. You can't. I don't know that you'd be able to see it on the screen here, just out of.
Yeah, let me just see if I can. Here, I think I have a zoomed image. Can you guys see the zoomed image?
I can see it, but I don't know if what I'm saying is bearing out. Yeah, as you zoom in, I think I can kind of see that now. Yeah, what happens though is the plastic and the glue over time yellows. When they put it on originally, this would have been clear, or you could probably see that it was there, but it basically clear. Just over time, the some combination of the plastic and the adhesive seals off. But you basically place that down, then cut around it with an X-Acto knife and peel off all the stuff you didn't want.
Can you imagine how much work goes into laying down that Zipatone like that?
I used to do that when I was when I was like starting off, drawing stuff on my own. Like I'd buy sheets of that and put it down. You kind of have to rub it on, and
so I'll put this to Mike. Mike, would you take the time to do all this with the cut?
I don't think I would have the time to do that.
I don't think I would have the patience to do this kind of thing. That's why artists are artists, right? Like they can do things that like normal people just cannot possibly fathom doing. So that's pretty impressive stuff. That was actually a Buscema page that we had zoomed in on.
Yeah. And you have to, like, in those days, you had like a very limited color palette that stuff was going to be printed in. And all of it was percentages of cyan, magenta, and yellow. So there's no black went into the color. So if you wanted something to have like a shadow, a black to it, that's how you had to do it. You had to put it into the line art.
All right. So the audience is commenting. By the way, the one on the left is also Buscema. Yep. I only know that because I went back and looked, and I hear that Buscema was the GOAT Conan artist, bar none. That's Philip Burnett, who is also a successful artist, John Barber. So take that I don't know, take that, John Barber. I don't know. Buscema was the GOAT. Philip Burnett. Zipatone is typically not archival. I guess maybe that's why it yellowed.
Yeah. It'll also, depending on how depending on some combination of how it was stored and luck of humidity, sometimes the plastic will shrink over time.
Interesting.
So when you see some of these pages now, it doesn't line up anymore.
This one does. They look like color forms, right? They kind of like curl up, right?
Yeah, or like really the effect of a shrinky dink,
like a shrinky dink. Take that, Barry Windsor-Smith. Philip Burnett picking a fight with me already.
Well, that's it's tough. I mean, my understanding of this is that when they got the Conan license, when Roy Thomas brought the license over to Marvel, they John Buscema, who literally wrote the book on drawing comics, right? He was the artist on how to draw comics the Marvel way. He was like the, I think, go-to that they were going to, go to. Gil Kane was right up there as well, but those guys were expensive, and they had this Conan book that they didn't know was going to work, so they had to go with somebody cheaper. So they wind up with this new kid, Barry Windsor-Smith, or Barry Smith at the time, but he gained a Windsor and
a Windsor.
It was pretty lucky, and it was also, like, all three of those artists are pretty good, and they're all pretty represented in here. What's wild to me about Conan is one, I love Conan as a character. I love all that stuff. I love the comic. But it's also just how important this comic is to comic book art, that you have like Barry Windsor-Smith, but you also have a huge part of Buscema's career playing out here. And and it's a different like trajectory, you know, where I mean, Buscema has a lot of everything. You know, he drew Avengers forever. He drew all sorts of stuff multiple times on Avengers, but a lot of his career took place in Conan, and Gil Kane is another one. I mean, he was all over the place in terms of what comics he was doing, but he's got a huge chunk of Conan stuff. I mean, he's got a huge chunk of a lot of things, but it's just amazing to see like those three major artists in comics all spending a lot of their time here, or you know, significant to their career parts of their careers on the series.
Well, sure, and you know, comic books still dominated by superheroes. Everybody loves their superheroes, but there's something about Conan that people just love it. And you know, let's see what else will be inside this this wonderful book.
Anything else good?
Oh yeah, we got another. Now is this? I forget who this is. I have to look. I should have labeled it, John. I didn't.
Yeah, I should have. I'm pretty sure that's Buscema, but I can't remember the inker on that.
Mike, who is this?
That's definitely Buscema. Yeah.
That's Alcala.
That's what I said, Alcala. Yeah.
Alcala on this page. It's Alcala group images.
You can tell by the way Conan's sword is that it's Alcala.
Mike, you're a bit of an Alcala aficionado, yes?
Yeah, I've seen a lot.
Even though you've never read a comic book, Conan comic book.
I've seen a lot of his work.
You've seen a lot of the Alcala.
Yeah.
All right, Mike. So course, far, yeah. What are you favoring right now?
Right now, I'm favoring Buscema. Buscema.
You still like Steve Buscema?
Yeah, like that's good. Yeah.
All right, we got you got that one in the lead. Alcala, talk to me about Alcala art, John Barber.
Yeah, we've only got a little bit in here. I mean, yeah, obviously he's utterly amazing. I was talking to Chris Ryle, who's writing some of the text pieces. We had breakfast the other day, and we were talking about Alcala. Just like this incredible detail and a sense of atmosphere and place to all of his stuff. Like he's somebody. Like I mean, I remember the first thing I think I ever read by him was this a Spider series that Tim Truman penciled that Eclipse Comics put out in the I guess in the 80s. It was pretty, you know, fairly late in Alcala's career, but I mean, just like the detail, the composition, the acting.
And I think he did a lot of inking as well, right?
Yeah. He definitely. That's why I was confused if that one was a Buscema one. There's a lot of images here.
There's a lot of great images, but really,
I was confused if that was
almost as important. John Barber is that two of my cousins are watching. Actually, Janet's cousins are watching. So say hi to Tom and Laura, everybody.
Hi, Tom and Laura.
Tom and Laura, everybody. So they're coming in from Arizona. So they've traveled pretty far for this show. We do appreciate their participation. Okay, let's keep going on. Let's go on the March of Art. Now, this was just, I mean, my goodness. Now, on the right, I think that's got to be Adams, right? Neal Adams.
On the right.
Oh no, on the left is Neal Adams.
On the left is Adams.
And on the left is Neal Adams. Who's on the right?
On the right is that that is oh wait, no, it's not.
Nino. It says Alex Nino.
Oh, Alex Nino. There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Mike, what are you digging so far the most?
I'm liking the Adams one now.
All right, let's zoom in on the Adams just for Mike to get some detail in on this, just because and of course my relatives are here, so I'm going to show off a little bit, show them just how fancy I am, Mike.
You can press all the buttons.
I'm pressing all the buttons, and one of those buttons will be the right one. We're going to share this now. John, do you know was this painted art?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's that was definitely watercolors, and it's yeah,
that's good.
I don't know. To me, that's one of the like incredible finds. I've never seen that picture before. We started working on this book, and I'm blown away by that. That's one of the most gorgeous. You know, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you can say it's one of the most gorgeous Neal Adams pages I've ever seen, because he's got a lot of good pages.
Many. Now, Mike, was this modeled after you?
No.
Yeah, absolutely. The
girl in the bikini. That's you,
background. That's what they use me for.
Mike, the girl in the bikini, is that you? That's supposed
Well,
to be you?
yeah, a little bit. Yeah. It was
Yeah.
the bra and the weird shin cufflinks. That's what I had on that day. So that's what they used for it.
And that is, I got to just tell you, you look at that Neal Adams and you realize, forget it. You can't draw. At that point, you might as well just go, forget it. I'm
done.
I gotta go. What do you gotta do? I don't know. I gotta go work somewhere else.
I gotta find a new career.
I gotta go do something else. So this guy has an amazing sense of values, and I don't think he means banking. I mean, what is values, John? John, what are values? Values is something color. What is that? What are we talking about here?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's sort of the I don't know. You almost you might call it like the contrast to the colors. The way the colors work against each other, I think, is maybe a good way to describe that.
And then Burnett takes a swipe at me. This is the part of everybody who's accidentally hitting the sound effects button. I'm button challenged, John Barber. I'm sorry. I do my best.
Well, at least we're not on the internet right now.
That's right.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
When we hit play, this show will be great. Okay, Gotilla says almost looks Japanese, like something out of Robotech or G4. Huh. That's an interesting observation. The composition, yeah, it kind of is heroic with that up angle. It's very dramatic. I like that.
Yeah.
And then cousin Tom McCarthy says Neal Adams rocks, rip Neal. Yeah. All right. I like it. Hey, listen, Philip Burnett. Hold on. Let's fill up. Nothing but love for you too, my buddy. Like, how do you do the heart?
I do the fingers down a little bit.
John Barber, can you do the heart too? How do we do the heart? That's it. That's to you, Philip Burnett. Nothing but love.
Oh,
nothing but love.
Did you see that? My computer
just flew up. Yeah.
Look at that. I don't even know how it's doing.
How did you do that, Mike?
Wow.
Whoa, Mike.
That's technology. Look at that.
Can you see those in front of you, or is that just on the computer?
Oh no, it's on the computer. Yeah, they just kind of screw out of my chest. There they go again.
Wow, Mike. We'll have to try out other gestures.
That is weird. Oh.
Wow. And it only works for Mike. John Barber, does it work for you?
No.
Mike's living in like a Disney dream.
This is like
I can't even get it onto his screen.
AI.
Mike, you just broke the internet. All right. Speaking of breaking the internet, John, tell us what we're looking at here. You were telling us about Cigna.
Yeah, I don't know. You asked for a schedule. I was trying to find a good-looking schedule. This is an out-of-date schedule.
Oh, wait, hold on. They have an explanation. The audience has an explanation for it. Just mentioned Japan, and Mike goes magical girl.
Naturally.
Oh, there you go, Mike. Bringing it home, baby. All right. So, John, what exactly are we looking at here? Is this how you work?
Well, yeah. So this is we were plotting out like something like the Colossal Edition is an unusual thing because it's the art's done. Some of it's been done since before I was born. But when you're doing a new comic, you'll try to kind of figure out. What you have to do really is take the final issue of whatever arc you're dealing with and count backwards from when you want that to come out to when you need to start, or vice versa. If you're starting right now and you're figuring out when something can come out, carry it all the way out there. So let's say the comic's going to take 5 to 6 weeks to do each issue minimum. Some artists are a lot longer. And as you can see here, we have a little thing where my collaborator on Cigna, Andrew Lee Griffith, who worked a bunch on Transformers, he's got a Godzilla comic that he's doing right in the middle of it. So you have a Godzilla issue in there. Not my problem whether or not he gets it done, other than we still gotta do our schedule. Like I said, we've actually adjusted the schedule since then. This is no longer correct, but. So you can see I kind of figured out, okay, here's where on sale months could be, but then I'm like, well, here's a safer number for if things go wrong. And I can't remember why. Oh, there's overseas printing, all sorts of stuff. Just a lot of things can go wrong. So I was picking later on sale dates. It'll be, I think, a little after that in reality.
Here's the thing. What this shows me, John, is that there is more to editing than the art and the story. You have to be organized, I would imagine, for everybody.
Yeah. I think you will find different editors have different skill sets. Some are very organized and some very successful editors are not. But they can get, their skills are in the other areas of skills. Like you said, kind of working with the artist, working with the writer. So yeah, there's a lot of pieces to that kind of thing. We've actually got a really great editor, Mason Rabinowitz, who's helping us on Cigna. But I've known Andrew for a long time, so I put together the schedule for him. But it is, there's a lot of logistics and a lot of stuff like that you kind of have to track.
Now, when you set out to work in comics, was your goal to be an editor? Was your goal to be a writer? What was your goal, and how did you end up as an editor?
There's an interesting question. Yeah, no, I actually went to school for art and graphic design. I have a master's degree in graphic design.
Wow.
So I was definitely kind of coming from it from a really like a visual communication kind of way. Like I was really into the storytelling. My thesis, my master's thesis was on comic book page layout, and it was that was what kind of really attracted me to it. I was working on, like I said, on web comics, doing stuff online. It was Scott McCloud had really inspired me into doing that. He did a book called Reinventing Comics that doesn't hold up nearly as well as Understanding Comics does, which is like a masterpiece. But Reinventing Comics was super important to me as a hooray, as a person. Like it was really important to me in my path. Wound up my now wife was going to Columbia, the school in New York. So we moved out there, and I just started applying to different jobs, and applied for a job at Marvel. Literally forgot. Got a call from Bill Jemis. Thought it was my friends messing with me. Like I genuinely did. I had to go home, check that on my computer, and find I had a cover letter in there. And I was like, oh, I did apply to a job there. And it was like for some nonsense. It was like for something I was not qualified for, whatever I applied for. But somehow it made its way into Jemis's hands. This is kind of after he was like really in charge of Marvel, but he was still there, kind of helping Dan Buckley and that later regime kind of setting up Dan. And I just kind of wound up editing stuff. I really clearly remember seeing I think it was an Andy Kubert page. It was one of the Kuberts, Andy or Adam, and seeing like all the windows that he drew in the background as Spider-Man swung by. And I was like, I don't want to do that.
No.
Like that's amazing.
That's like the Zipatone thing. It's like, it looks all right. And then you got to do that every day.
Yeah. Because I'd spent, in high school and stuff, I would sit there and, I'd draw comics. I'd spend a lot of my nights just, the TV playing and drawing stuff or, listening to records. But yeah, kind of seeing that, I'm like, oh, these guys, like the people that are really good at this are really good at this. So, but my minor was in English literature. I'd always been, a big writing person too. My dream was to kind of go out, I think, and just write and draw my own comics, and then sort of realizing that's I'm more weighted toward the writing and the editing. Although when I left IDW the first time, Tom Scioli had said something where it's like everybody should just go out and write and draw a comic. I'm like, yeah, I should. So I bought all these. I bought some new paper. I believe in the photo of my my desk. I think you can see the unopened thing of paper that I have. That made it through me leaving IDW a second time. But I still, every night I'm like, man, tomorrow I had to just pull out some of the paper and
I'm going to start tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what, John? I think that's really great advice because it's hard. I tried drawing a comic and it was I gave up halfway through. I don't know how much further you made it through than the 50% mark, but I don't even think I made it to the 50% mark. I was like, this is so hard.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, you don't need to draw like Andy or Adam Kubert or Barry Windsor-Smith to draw comics. You know what I mean? Like that isn't the only look for comics. That isn't the only kind of good comics there is. So there is something, you know, anybody can do. There's something really cool about comics that there's like that conversational type of comic too, where somebody can just kind of go down there and you know, draw something out. I mean, I was just reading Dog Man with my kid, with my son, and that's awesome. Dog Man is wonderful. It's, you know, super simply drawn. It's designed to look like third graders drew it. You know, like that's the story. It's a meta story to Dog Man. And that's great comics too. So you can do it. You know, I can do it. I can pick that thing up tomorrow. Tomorrow might be the day, buddy.
It might be, but you know what, Mike, you know, it's a first. I think this is the first time we've ever had somebody say my master's degree in, right? Or I wrote my master's thesis in. I think we've been doing the show a couple of years, John. I think you were the first person to bring up, like, maybe we only have dealt with undergrads. I think
it's comic book school. I thought I'd be underqualified. Don't you?
No, John, you're like you're the first
top tier right now. You got that master's degree.
Yeah,
somebody out there's a doctor of comics by now. I'm sure, right?
I'm sure, but they won't come on the show though. We tricked you, John. We were like, we promised to show your office and your desk, which is now what we're going to do.
Oh, no.
John made the mistake of look at Mike showing off blowing bubbles there. All right, let's see what we got here. So we got this. This is John's desk. Where are the pages of art? Is that under the desk there?
Actually, that's an artist edition. That's one of Scott's artist editions down there.
Is this your reading pile?
Yes, that's the to read pile. What do I have there? Yeah, I've got it's a combination of stuff I've read and stuff I mean to read. Super well organized. I can pull out there. What do you got? You need a Marv Wolfman novel of the Fantastic Four, Vampire Hunter D. It's all right there.
John, I gotta tell you, you wait till we show the back shelves too. This guy has got the collection. Hold on. It says we didn't send the master's certification of the CV this time around. Well, there you go. Okay, so let's see. We're gonna see what else John has. So you know what I'm always amazed at, Mike?
What?
How tight of a space everybody works in. You know, we've shown a lot of people's workspaces, John, and it's amazing. Like I would imagine that you'd have something like gigantic, just this, you know, Star Trek, you know, Enterprise level and a giant, it's just a regular desk.
But he does have two keyboards.
He does, yeah. Why do you have two keyboards?
What are you talking about? I have three keyboards.
Oh yeah, you have the computer keyboard.
You got the laptop.
And then John, come
that's
clean.
How fast I write, man.
Why do you have two keyboards right here?
I don't know. One of them is an old wireless one. I think probably the batteries ran out one time, and I'm like, I'm not changing the batteries.
You just sort of shoved it.
Too much effort.
I just shoved it over here.
Yeah.
Tom McCarthy says, love the Barry Windsor-Smith Red Nails artist edition. You know why he says that? Because he got one and he knows that I don't have one. And he knows that that's a sore point between me and Tom McCarthy because that's like I told you, Mike, that's my wife's cousin. And that's just mean, Tom McCarthy.
Yeah.
All right. It's all our significant others will permit. That's right. Well, wait till you see the bookshelf that John has. John has this shelf is literally sagging. The shelf is groaning under the weight. It is so what talk to us about what you got here. What makes it to the shelf? Because you have millions of items. What makes it to the shelf?
Yeah, I mean, I used to really like kind of relentlessly collect. I've never been like a hardcore collector in terms of like condition and stuff. I actually love buying old comics that are, you know, where somebody's gone through and like done half a crossword puzzle in them or something. You know, I just feel like it's fun to know, like, oh, some kid, this meant something to some kids sometime, and now, now it's there. But I was a kind of a relentless collector of of collected editions and stuff. At some points, a couple of years ago, my wife pointed out that that my office was actually our office, and I needed to clean it.
Oh,
so I kind of had to get rid of some of the stuff that
so what Marvel collected editions did she want to display?
Apparently, there's all kinds of stuff there. There's some, obviously there's scraps from my kids. They've got some drawings there that I've just shoved up there.
I'm just wondering which stuff is your wife's stuff. And
I think the
this is all mine. Yeah.
Oh, all right. So, oops,
it didn't work out super well in terms of her getting a lot of floor space here.
Yeah. Well, all right. So Gatilla says that's how bookshelves should look. You know what? We agree. We agree. This is how they should look. And then Gatilla asks, is that a Colonial Viper in the upper left shelf?
That is actually a Lego A-wing, a Lego Resistance A-wing.
I'll tell you, Gatilla is usually, Gatilla is, Redheaded Ed says you should give her at least one keyboard. So there's a throw out to your significant other. Okay, let's see what else John has on his shelves. I have to admit, I still don't see anything that is not yours, John, on these shelves.
No, I wasn't gonna. No, yeah.
This is definitely.
I do have a giant chair that used to be my daughter's room, taking up a big chunk of space here.
Oh wait, hold on. There was an observation here. It looks like a Christmas photo.
Oh yeah,
right here.
There's a couple of them.
Yeah, there's a couple
Christmas photos up there.
Family man time here. Okay, so all right. So now we have two other shelves. These are black. The other ones were white. I see spaceships. What else are we looking at here? What are some of your favorites, John?
Some of the, there's some stuff that I've sort of accumulated in there that I don't know, took me by surprise when it's like, oh, that's actually worth a lot now, or that's hard to find now. But I've got somewhere down there is Scott McCloud's just Destroy, the giant size one of that. Some old Paul Pope stuff, like some old THB, the oversized stuff there.
And I see a lot of Marvel spines.
Yeah, that's my section of the Marvel, those oversized Marvel hardcovers. So yeah, I definitely have a lot of those and some of the Ultimate stuff. I said something really. On the left-hand one, you can see it looks like a Transformers action figure. That's my Transformers Hall of Fame plaque.
Where is that?
That one right there. You're on it.
Right here.
Yeah, that's I can bring them over.
Yeah, let's bring it in. Let's make everybody jealous.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, because like Michael Bay, Steven Spielberg, Weird Al Yankovic, and Bumblebee, I'm in the Transformers Hall of Fame.
That's cool.
Wow. Wow. See, now that was worth displaying. Now, it looks like we got some comments in here. Tom McCarthy asks a question: what % has been read versus what needs to be read?
Honestly, a lot of the stuff on the shelves has been read, but some of the stuff I've had since 1990. You know what I mean? I think you can see somewhere in there is my Under Thunderbird 2. You've got my the complete Frank Miller Batman book that came out in 1988. I got
Would
probably.
You put this over 80% read, 90%? What are we talking here? Huh?
Probably 70. Probably 70. There's a lot of stuff that I've got.
What about Under Your Desk, John? What percentage of that was read?
That's lower. A lot of that stuff is more recent stuff that I kind of need to get to.
That's the to read list. It looks like a manga fan has called out your Viz manga spinner.
Yeah, that one I was at a Barnes and Noble, or what is it? There's a bookstore in Point Loma that's it's like an old book chain that Barnes and Noble owns, but for some reason that one is still a bookstore. And I was going to my car and I saw this out by the garbage can, and I'm like, hey, can I just have this manga spinner? And they're like, yeah, we're just getting rid of it. So
there you go.
That was a nice find.
It was difficult to fit in my car, but yeah.
But you
So,
made it
I'm kind of
happen.
happy with that. Like, I like the, some people have their comic rack. I got a manga spinner. That's,
Yeah, that is, I like it. Now, Philip Burnett says you are truly a man of culture.
that's
He
it.
did say that before he found out you were picking the garbage.
Yeah.
The bookstore.
Yeah.
But I think it still stands. And Tom McGarty says, "Good to see you have a lot of friends in case you ever decide to move." Yeah, man, don't move. This is one U-Haul alone.
That's
Well,
you just gotta leave it when you move.
So, not visible here is the shelf in my closet, like right behind me here, that's got all my IDW artist editions in it. I'm upstairs, and when we moved into this place, like that was the biggest thing of moving, was getting all of those artist editions upstairs. Like those are heavy. And whenever, like that time, I was like, man, it's time to shift to digital.
So, John, listen, when you say you have too many artist editions, there's not a lot of sympathy to go around.
No,
probably more people who are like, "Can I come over?"
Yeah. No, I don't mean to. I don't mean to be like light on that. Like, I'm very grateful to have those, and that's why I keep them. I really enjoy them.
Oh, they're ride his bike to your house.
They're the best. Yes. No one has sympathy there. We all want to come to your house and pick those books. It's like when Mike complains he has too much cash in the bank. No one is like, "Oh, pshaw." Yeah. There was a question: open the door so you drown in indie books or get crushed. Yes, they're talking about your closet. The question was Dalton books, Walton books. There are so many. Maybe it has to rhyme with Walton. I don't know. Some sort of rhyme. And hold on, you don't need a gym membership if you have a lot of comic books. Clearly, by the physiques of most comic book collectors, clearly we are getting strong on our comic books.
That's right.
It's when my wife bought me a Wolverine t-shirt, and she bought it in athletic fit. And I said, "What is athletic fit?" It was like tight in the shoulders and then tapers around the waist. And I'm like,
Did it come with claws?
It should have come with scissors because it didn't fit around my waist. Okay. So there's the next Barnes and Noble employee. She said, "Never mind." But you can totally get a hernia. Yeah. From lifting those IDW books, you can totally get a hernia. So, John, this is the part of the show where we hold on, add the stage. There we go. John, this is the part of the show where we ask you a question, and then we're gonna zoom in on you. And the question is, what is one piece of advice that you wish you had received early in your career? Go.
Ooh. I guess I should have been preparing for that. Take care of yourself. That can actually, I mean, that's a real thing. You see a lot of people, burning out on comics, and some of that is because sometimes the comics industry can really suck, and sometimes it can be really, really difficult for people. But it's all, and there are people that can kind of come in wide-eyed and think everything's gonna be, all their superhero dreams they had when they were a kid. Even if you don't have that though, and you come in kind of jaded, kind of worldly, there's a part of doing any sort of comic where you have to just put yourself on the line for it, or else it's not going to be very good. Whether you're an editor, a writer, or an artist, it's like drawing all those windows. Yes, it's possible to not draw all those windows if you're drawing Spider-Man, but it's not going to be as good as if you did. That's the sort of comic it is. But there is a limit to how much you can do to yourself before there's a negative effect on it. So a negative effect on you, I mean. So that's probably a piece. I don't know if that makes any sense or if that's terribly useful to people, but it kind of flows in with find a place where comics can exist in your life and be comfortable with it. That might be that you're just posting stuff. I don't mean just. That might be that you are posting stuff online and you have another job and you don't need to worry about the commercial aspects of it, and that's great. it could be that you're, you know, Brian Michael Bendis or something, and you're writing, you know, comics, and then, you know, having TV shows based on your characters. But find where it works for you, and don't worry about what other people are doing when it comes to that.
I love that, Mike. Let's hear it for. Mike's throwing you the hearts. And no, I think that's great advice, John. I think most notably is knowing where comics can fit into your life, and you know, not everybody can do it full time, and sometimes you just have to find your way and the way you can be in comics. I'm in comics because I found the button. Clearly, yes. that was the barrier. That was the hurdle I had to do. Mike, what are your terrific advice? Moderation in all things never hurts. Yeah, that's a really good point. You can drive yourself crazy trying to keep up with everybody else, right?
Yeah. Or it's when you put yourself out there doing something creative that means something to you, whether it's your own comic that you're creating, whether it's Transformers, whether it's anything, you can get hurt doing that. You know, that can happen. But and it's not like there's a lot of sympathy for it. It's kind of like, oh, I had to carry up all these artist edition. Oh, too bad. You know, it was tough. You know, you're real lucky that happened to you. I know I'm really lucky, but it is possible to still damage yourself.
Yeah, burnout could be a real thing. I mean,
yeah.
Mike, you worked really hard especially in the early days of getting Robot Chicken off the ground, right? I mean, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, that was fun. Good times.
It was I'm sure it was a heavy lift. Then you relocated your whole life from New York to California for your dream, right?
Yep. And now I have 3 Emmys.
And now
and a computer that does hearts.
You do, but you don't have a master's degree, and I
do not have a master's degree.
You need a master's degree. I think there was one more thing, John, a last minute addition that we wanted to get to. I think you have a comic that I think we need to check out. Hold on, let me pull this up. You guys can talk amongst yourselves, smoke them if you got them. I will, in the meantime, pull up this beautiful graphic, which I will say is quite beautiful and has your name on it, John. So you're going to have to give us a little bit of information behind it. So we're going to present, share screen. Go ahead, everybody. Feel free to fun. Just we'll trim this out. We'll trim this out in editing. There's no editing. Okay. Andrew Lee Griffith and John Barber. I know that name, John Barber. John, tell us what we're looking at.
This is the cover. This is actually not the correct logo placement of the cover. I did manage to send you the wrong one. The cover for Cigna #1 with a minor changes, and we'll have the colorist and letterer on the cover as well. Andrew Lee Griffith and I, we did a comic called Transformers: Robots in Disguise together. We've done a number of comics together. We've known each other for like 15 years, kind of working together for that long. And we're finally doing a creator-owned comic. It's coming out from PUG, and we'll be kickstarting issue 1 in a little less than a month, is our plan. If you go to pugworldwide.com, you can join up on the mailing list, and we'll keep you up to date as stuff's launching. But look for us on Kickstarter in a couple months. It's a science fiction story with robots, and we're very excited about it.
Well, I'm excited for you. Had me at robots.
Yes.
I mean, what else? Let's see. We wanted to see. Okay, this is this where they can go for more information? Hold on. This is where I was.
That's exactly. Yeah, it should be.
So this is the new website, PUG Worldwide, and this is where you can learn a little bit more about John. This is where I did my deep dive research. There you go.
That's me.
Everything I know. There you go. So there's the team. Yeah. Say hi to everybody for us. John, #1, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate you coming out. We appreciate you coming out on Tuesday night. It's cold here on the East Coast. I'm sure it's beautiful there in San Diego, but you still had to make it in front of the camera in time. So we thank you so much for that.
All right.
I wish you a lot of luck. When
you.
does this go live on Kickstarter, and where should we look for it?
Like I said, should be around February 20th. I might be saying the date wrong, so that's why I'm being widgy on it. But yeah, it should be around then. And just Kickstarter, or like I said, check out pugworldwide.com, and there's a button you can press.
And I see you have a pretty active Twitter. Are you more Twitter? Are you more Instagram? Where should people follow you?
I have bouts of coming in and going on those. Sometimes I have trouble focusing if I spend too much time on social media. But I exist on Twitter, and I'm on Blue Sky, and I need to get on other stuff too.
Well, hold on, John. We have some comments from the snarky audience.
Uh-oh.
All right. Dealt with in a lot of industries. I met Buddy in a burnout time. Well, she was doing burnouts in her car. She almost ran me over and wrote a ticket. I'm not sure what the context of this was, or sailor school uniform, but I feel like it exists on its own.
That's good.
Yeah. This one is to you, Mike. You need one of those.
I'm supposed that's the sailor uniform.
Yeah. The sailor uniform.
I have one of those.
Redheaded Ed says you're looking for the Twizzlers. So yeah, that's true, John. We're going to be putting you in the green room. Mike, what's the green room loaded with tonight, actually?
Tonight's SpaghettiOs.
SpaghettiOs. So, John, help yourself to all the SpaghettiOs that you can eat and swallow. Nicely done, gents. That's probably to you, John. Mike, Philip Burnett says he thinks you might have Care Bear powers. Origin story time. No one knows why you can do this and no one else. I think we were looking at your comic, John, when we heard I hear robots in disguise in the 80s cartoon jingle in my head every time you say it. So I think, you should. So good luck, John, on your comic. We're going to put you in the green room. Don't go far. We're going to close out the show. But by the way, thank you so much for joining us tonight. You're a great guest, and good luck on your comic. And congratulations on the Conan book.
Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Sam.
What a nice guy. What a nice guy. So, yeah, I mean, what I find very interesting is his serendipitous and almost accidental way into working in comic books, where he sent out like a job application, forgot he sent out a job application, and was like, oh, I got the job.
When you got a master's, you don't really care. You send stuff out. You don't really care.
You just send stuff out, and people are like, sure, come and work here. He should have shot a little higher. He should have been like, I'm looking to be chief designer at Apple or something.
Yeah, well, yeah.
He shot a little
years later, but yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, too bad you didn't shoot a little higher, John. You should have like been like, I need more.
Next time
he's in that mood to just randomly apply for jobs. And I wish that we're still true. Great show, guys. Yes, that was Mike. Great show because of a great guest. And of course, next week we will have. Hold on.
Another guest.
Stand by, Mike.
We'll have another guest.
No, we're not going to have one guest.
We have two.
We're going to have
three.
Four. We're going to have four guests. Check this out. So next
week, be enough room on the screen for everybody.
A little hard to believe, but next Tuesday it'll be a guy named Buddy Scalera, AJ, Alex, and Padu. I think I'm saying that right. Sorry, AJ, Alex, if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Ryan, Katie. I'm assuming it's Katie. Maybe it's Caddy. Will Pfeiffer and Lisa Hawkins, who Lisa's been in comic book school many, many times. Thanks, John. That was awesome. So shout out to John, who's in the green room. I actually see him eating SpaghettiOs right now. They liked you, John. They really liked you.
The Aussies loved you.
Yes, they do. The Aussies loved you. So next week for the Valentine's Day special, it'll be the three writers and our editor will tell you about how this anthology came together. And then next week, that is the week that it's on sale.
All right.
So people will be able to thoroughly enjoy that. Mike, we need the return of Mike's trivia time.
Mike's been lazy.
But Mike, let's thank John one more time. John, thanks so much for coming. We adore you. You're welcome back anytime. And if you want to cross promote your do a pop on for your when your Kickstarter starts, you're always welcome.
Oh, I'd love to. All right. Thank you very much. Great to see you.
All right. Thank you, pal. See you soon. Mike, another great show. Good to see you. And next week we will have a whole bunch of guests. So see you next Tuesday, guys. Good night, everybody.